Hi everyone, welcome to Law School Gems with Bria. My name is Bria Riley. I am the founder of Law School Gems and I am so excited to be here with you today. And the first topic that we are starting off with is the pre-prep to your first semester of law school. Now, before we dive into this first topic, which is going to be about pre-prep first semester of law school, I want to just affirm you right now. If you were here, lean in a little closer. Congratulations, you have been invited or admitted into law school, and I'm so proud of you. If you are not quite there yet, don't be afraid to take that next step on your journey. Know that you are supposed to be here. Do not get imposter syndrome. If you were admitted, it's because you have something to offer, so always remember that. Lead with confidence, lead with humility and grace, and just be your best self. Show up and do the work, stay determined. I promise I'm gonna hold you down throughout this process. I'm gonna be here with you. If you have any questions or comments or concerns or want me to dive deeper into any specific topic, feel free to drop it in the comments below and I will definitely tune into you. So without further ado, let's jump right on into pre-first semester prep.
We are born to win. Come and learn the basics with Law School Gems.
So when you're starting off your law school career, specifically that summer before you enter your first semester, you are going to receive your course syllabi. The course syllabi will walk you through your professor's name. It will walk you through the course number, the name of the course, how many credit hours that course is, what you will be expected to know and learn throughout the semester in order to be successful, and what you will be tested on either on a midterm or final exam. It'll also break down the topics that you'll be learning and the different sections and chapters of those topics, right? And it'll break down the weeks in which you're going to learn those topics as well. It'll also tell you what your course materials and your course book should be and what cases you should be reading within those books per week in order to be qualified to go into your class and just spout off that wonderful knowledge that I know you're going to spout off. And all of that is going to be in your course syllabus. After that point, if you are a tangible learner and you like to feel things in your hands, it doesn't feel real to you unless you do, go ahead and print that off, right? Stick to what you know. If you're not a digital learner and you're not someone that's going to keep up with things on your laptop or on your computer, go ahead and as the first step, let's make sure that we're printing off those materials, and then let's start binders for each of your individual classes. So the first step in your pre-prep for your first semester of law school is getting organized. So if you're a tangible person, go get you some tangible binders, print them off with your course syllabi, stick that in the front of that binder so you know what course that binder goes with, and then we're going to organize that binder. All right, so we're going to organize these binders as follow. Put that course syllabus in the front, and then from there you're going to put your case briefs, your class notes and any handouts, your assignments, your practice questions, quizzes and exams, office hours, and then miscellaneous. And those are going to be the tabs within your binders, right? Also, you'll want to create binders tangibly if you're a tangible person for your jobs and for your scholarships, right? And keep that stuff organized as well, including for the organizations that you are going to be a part of. And this is how you should organize those. So within your binders for your jobs or for your scholarships, you'll want to break them down by job name or maybe classification. So say if you're interested in public interest law and you know that going into law school, we'll have a binder dedicated just for those jobs. So when you see those jobs pop up, you know to save them, you can archive them in your binder, and then you can also begin to get your materials ready for them. And the same goes for your scholarship application materials as well. And these application materials may consist of the formal application themselves for both the job or the scholarship, your writing sample if the scholarship or the job requires that, your transcript, your letters of recommendation, or any other information that may be pertinent to your candidacy materials. And that includes your resume as well. So keep all of those materials in your individual binders per job, per organization, per scholarship, and just begin to get organized. And if you're an intangible person, meaning you're okay with the digital learning space, then you can do the same thing with organizing your binders for your classes, for your scholarships, for your jobs, and for your organizations, but you'll do so on your computer and your laptop, and that's how you'll break them down. With respect to the organization of your binders for the organizations or the groups that you're going to join, I want you to organize those as followed, right? So first start off with the Constitution or the preamble for that organization or that group. Then go into your position title, your description, and your responsibilities, the organizational goals so you can keep track of those, any meeting minutes or project timelines, and then finally handouts as well. So making sure that you are organizing those binders for those groups that you're in will also help you keep your extracurriculars organized as well, which is very important. If you haven't figured out, a very common theme in law school in order to be a step ahead of the game is to get organized. If you are disorganized, you are going to drop balls that are up in the air, and you don't want to do that. You got to be able to juggle them all at once. And in order to do that, you have to organize. And organization helps you prioritize your tasks. Next up, after you get organized, is to make sure that you purchase your course books. So remember those course syllabi that we talked about, you should have already been given by your professors if you've been assigned your course schedule or your professors and you know what courses you're going to be taking. They will also tell you what books that you need to prepare in advance and buy in advance in order for you to be prepared for classes. Now, this is very important because a lot of law students will procrastinate thinking that law school is just like college and that you don't need the course book. Or maybe you can get it once the semester has already started and then maybe it'll be discounted. Or maybe you can wait until you join some organizations and they'll have like a book bank that you can choose from and you can either get the books for free or discounted. Well, there are a couple of red flags with all of those scenarios and we're going to talk about them right now. So a lot of professors still operate off of the motto of being cold call, meaning on your first day of classes, they're going to expect you to have read the assigned material for that week. And if you were unprepared and they call on you in order to case brief a case, which we'll get into later on more law school gems at a later date, but if they call on you and they expect you to case brief a case and you're unprepared because you didn't purchase your books in time, that's not going to make you look good. It's not going to make you feel good. It's going to lower your morale and confidence, and it's not going to put a good taste in the professor's mouth about you. And you don't want that. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot. So make sure you purchase your books as soon as possible, especially if you are in a position to do so. Do not procrastinate and do not wait until the last minute. Another red flag with waiting to purchase your books and trying to get them from other students who may have taken those courses in the past and maybe they can get the books to you at a discounted rate is that perhaps your professor is requiring you to have a newer edition of a book. Right? And if that newer edition doesn't mesh with the older editions that are already out, then you are going to be editions behind if you try to go get those books at a discounted rate if they're the older version. So you also have to be on the lookout for that when you're shopping for discounted or used books, and make sure that when you're shopping for used books, especially like on Amazon or some of those other retailers out there like that, that the books are not marked up so much to where they're giving you the answers. You want to be able to read a case and mark it up yourself and know that, this is how I got to this answer. This is where I can improve. This is where I'm killing it. And this is where I need to get better. You're not going to be able to do that if the book is already marked up and everything is already highlighted and scratched up in between, right? And inked up. You don't want those type of used books. So make sure you get a good quality used book if you're going to get a used book. And I'm totally for the used books. I'm totally for saving the coins, honey, and getting all of the discounts. But in order to do that, you just don't want to sacrifice the quality of the material that you're getting as well, because that's very important. And that's why we're here, right? So with respect to resources that you can use to purchase your books, I've already named one of those, and that's Amazon. Your local library, not just within your law school, but also within your communities. Sometimes they have legal books as well. And then also your law school library, sometimes they have books that you can rent for the semester at no cost to you, or maybe they can help you locate a book elsewhere that you can purchase or that you can rent, etc. There are also digitized versions of the book, right? And that's very important, especially for those intangible people who don't mind learning digitally. I think that's very important to leave that option open on the table as well. And it'll also save you money if you're only purchasing the digital copy of a book rather than the actual physical copy. There are drawbacks to that, right? Because I don't know how the annotation may work for those digital copies and how much annotating you can really do in those books when you're trying to take notes or highlight or pinpoint certain information. You definitely can't tab it physically the way you would in a physical course book. So I have recommended to the law students that I've mentored to get a physical copy of a book. But again, you can always get the used version. You can rent the book so that way you can send it back at the end of the semester once you don't need it, or you could just purchase it new. Also look out for any applicable discounts. If you are a veteran, if you are an elderly person, if you are someone who has certain disabilities and maybe there are discounts available to you on the basis basis of that. Ask for any discount possible and leave no stone uncovered when you are a law student and you are trying to save money, okay? I promise you it will help in the long run. Use your student campus portal as well. A lot of times students that have taken the course previously will be posting on their campus portal about books that they're looking to sell, and they're looking to sell them to you, usually at discounted and bargain prices. So be sure to look out for those as well. That's another great resource to tap into if you're trying to get your course books. Now, if you're a student that is in a position where you can't purchase your books prior to your first semester beginning, then I would make sure that you look out within the first week or two of joining some of those organizations we talked about before, because a lot of those organizations, specifically local to your law school, will have book banks. And you can either rent the book, you can buy it at a discounted rate. Sometimes the books are even for free, and that may help you save money if you're a student that is not in a position to purchase the book prior to your law school classes beginning. And then finally, look for scholarships. There are a lot of book scholarships out there for postgraduate students, for students that are in law school programs, for students with red hair and freckles. You know, there are so many scholarships out there for different people in different situations. So look out for those scholarships, see if one of them is applicable to you, and maybe that'll help cut the cost down with respect to books, because I know they can be pricey. It takes a village. If you have a strong family or a strong friend group that's looking to support you and they're wanting to know how they can help, tell them cash is king. Donate to this book fund, because that's what you're going to need. And those books can get pricey per semester. Trust me. The final portion of this video that I wanted to talk about in anticipation of your first semester of law school beginning is creating a law school schedule. So the first part, we walk through organization. The second part, we walk through your course books. This third part that we're going to discuss right now is creating that weekly law school schedule. Like I said, law school is so busy for so many different reasons, some of which are unexplainable to me still to this day. And in order to prioritize those tasks, you got to get organized, and that starts with your schedule as well. So let's jump right into that. So the important part to remember about your weekly law school schedule is that it needs to work for you, right? So if you're someone who uses Microsoft Word doc, then use that to make your schedule. If you're an Excel person, use that to make your schedule. If you're a Venn diagram person, I don't know how you're going to make that work, but use that to make your schedule. Whatever your schedule needs to look like in order for you to access it frequently, which is what you want, in order for you to use it and not just forget about it and throw it out the window somewhere. But it needs to be something that's accessible, something that you're going to want to pay attention to, you're going to look at, and it needs to be something that you're actually going to be using, right? It's supposed to benefit you in that way. So if you're not going to use it, or if you're saving it somewhere where you know you're not going to access it, then that really doesn't help you. So if you need to put it on your phone, put it on your phone. If it needs to be on your computer, on your laptop, if you need a physical, tangible calendar in order to mark off your time, or like a daily planner or a weekly planner, or even a monthly planner, set that aside, but just make sure that you have something where you can notate your schedule. And your schedule needs to depend on the classes that you're taking, the study time you want to designate to each one of those classes, the times that you'll spend doing quizzes and exams and practice quizzes, etc., the times you'll spend in office hours, the times you'll spend eating, running errands. Whatever you need to put into your schedule in order for you to be successful is what you need to make sure that you are outlining for yourself on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. If you are a tangible person, make sure that once you make that schedule, that you print it off, or if you're writing it out, that's fine as well, but make sure that it's somewhere where you can feel it, you can see it, you can touch it. If you are an intangible person and you like digital models, then make sure that it's on your phone or it's on your laptop, or save somewhere where you can easily access it as well. And I will also share with you all an example of a schedule that I created for one of my law school mentees. It was something that worked for her schedule. She was a busy mom and wife of 2. And so I wanted this to be something that would be flexible and allow her family time, but also allow her the opportunity to get what she needed to get done for law school. So if you find yourself in that boat and you find yourself in something similar and you have similar courses as she did, then maybe that's a schedule or an example of one that you'll want to lock into to help prepare you for your first semester of law school. So rule of thumb when creating your weekly schedule, right? Each week, for every credit hour that you have, you'll want to spend 3 hours studying for that course. So say, for instance, instance, you have a 3-hour credit course, right? Say, for instance, it's torts that semester. Now, for each one of those credit hours, you'll want to spend 3 hours of studying. So for that one course, you'll study 9 hours that week for that one course. And you'll do the same thing for the rest of your classes as well. So if it's a 4-credit course like property in some respects, then you'll spend 12 hours studying for that course. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, what the heck am I supposed to study for 9 hours per course? But let me give you some tips that you can slot into those hours, because trust me, those hours go quickly and you'll be like, man, I wish I had more time to devote toward this class, but you only got so much time per class, right? And you got to balance that. So within those study blocks of time per course, you'll want to fill up that time by doing the following: reading and doing your case briefs, which we'll talk about in later videos on Law School Gems. Outlining, which is pretty much a study guide that's going to be useful for you to retain information to help prepare you for your midterms and your final exams. You'll also want to incorporate assignments that maybe your professor has given you for that course. Any practice questions or practice quizzes or exams, and the questions and the answers for those, right? And then finally, review. So reviewing the answers that you are giving on those practice exams or those practice questions in order to determine what you're getting right, why you're getting it right, or what you're getting wrong and why you're getting it wrong. All of that will be very important in order for you to be successful in each block of study for those courses that you are assigned for that semester. So the average first semester law student has about 12 to 15 credit hours per semester. And if we're going off of that 3 hours of study time per credit hour, that means that per week you should be dedicating at least 36 to 45 hours of study time for all of your courses for that week. And that needs to be blocked off in your weekly law school schedule. Next up, you'll want to spend at least 2 hours per week in office hours, right? For each of the courses that you have. So that'll round out to about 8 to 10 hours per week in office hours for all of your courses combined. And you'll use this time to get to know your professors and to talk to them about your coursework and the materials that you're learning, etc. And we'll get more into that in later videos of Law School Gems. But that rounds out in total with the 36 to 45 hours of study time you'll be dedicating to all your courses, plus 8 to 10 hours of office hours. You're coming out to about 44 to 55 hours per week for your law school weekly schedule as of right now. And so I don't forget, you'll want to ensure that you're getting enough rest. That is very, very important. I know a lot of law students think they have to work themselves in a grave, but that's not sustainable and I don't encourage it. So make sure that you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep at night. That is what's recommended by experts, but do what works for you. If you're someone who operates and thrives off of 5 hours of sleep, then keep doing that. If it's 6, if it's 7, then keep doing that. But whatever has helped you get to this point is what you'll want to implement as a part of your normal rest schedule throughout your day as well. And that includes resting not just to sleep, but also for lunch breaks, for dinner, for snacks, etc. So let's just say that you're resting 8 hours a day, right? That's how much that you were sleeping. So that rounds out per week to about 56 hours a week, totaling to 112 hours, taking into account the amount of time you'll spend studying, the amount of time you'll spend in office hours, and the amount of time that you'll spend resting. Now, with respect to resting, like we already talked about, you'll need to carve out time to eat. You have to nourish yourself. You have to get replenished, right? And in order to do that, I recommend carving out 30 minutes for breakfast, even if it's just your meditation or your alone time or your affirmations, or you're just eating good vibes and good energy and you're not really filling yourself up. But set aside 30 minutes for breakfast, whether that be a protein bar, a snack, a shake, something that you can, put inside your body that's going to nourish you to help jumpstart your day. Set aside 30 minutes for your lunch as well. Set aside an hour for your dinner, and set aside 2 15-minute breaks a day for your snacks, right? And that comes out to roughly about 17 and a half hours per week. And in total, you'll be at about 168 hours per week once you factor in the amount of time you'll spend studying, the amount of time you'll spend in office hours, the amount of time you'll spend resting, and the amount of time that you'll spend on your eating breaks. Now, listen to this because this is also very important. A lot of people will try to study while they're eating. Don't do that, because when you're doing that, your body is then multitasking and you're splitting your time. That means that your brain is spending less time focusing on eating and digestion and spending other time elsewhere, usually studying or doing something else, and it's distracted. And what does that do? It tricks your brain into thinking that you are hungrier sooner, which is going to mean you're going to be hungry and you're going to have to eat again, and that's going to further interrupt your study schedule. We don't want that. To avoid all of those health issues and things like that, make sure that you are doing your body a service and that you are carving out time just to simply eat and to be present with yourself and to not focus on studying for at least 17 and a half hours per week, and you'll dedicate that to your weekly law school schedule. Now, after we factored in all of those things, your studying, your office hours, your resting, your eating, you'll have left over about 39 and a half to 50 hours per week of things that you can do for yourself. I recommend that you dedicate at least 24 of those hours to self-care, whatever that looks like for you, whether it be therapy, whether it be swimming, whether it be aerobics, exercise, going out to have a cocktail, going out to, dance, have a good time, going to a party, watching a movie, walking your dog, talking to your parents or your family or your friends, anything that enriches your life and makes you better that you need in order to rejuvenate yourself to get ready for that next week. Do it. And then spend the other time doing these things. So grocery shop, run your errands, attend networking events, meet with mentors and advisors, apply for jobs and scholarships, and then interviewing as well. And that's what you'll spend the rest of your time throughout your law school schedule doing. And you can even carve out that time and get really specific and detailed for your weekly law school schedule. And this schedule is meant to be adaptable, right? So figure out what's working and what's not working, and then change it and alter. If you know that you need to give more time to studying for this particular course, then do that. If you think maybe you could spend less time studying over here for this particular course because you got that down, then do that. If you think maybe you need more time to dedicate toward office hours or more time to dedicate toward self-care because you're noticing that you're lagging, figure out all of that and factor that into your schedule and keep adapting it as you are improving and going throughout your first semester of law school. It'll be really, really good for you, but it's meant to be a living, breathing document that changes and molds with you as you are being changed and molded throughout your first semester of law school. So guys, that's all that I have for you for this first video of Law School Gems. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please feel free to drop them down below and I will be responding to them and also maybe uploading with some supplemental information if I missed anything. I'm really excited for you all to be here. Thank you for watching to the very end. That really helps me grow this channel and helps me reach larger audiences so I can keep doing Law School Gems for all of you all. Please feel free to subscribe to this channel, like it, and share it with a friend if you thought that it was useful, specifically a friend who is interested in law school or entering their first semester of law school, or someone who may just benefit from this information. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys again. Like I said before, thank you for coming along with me on this ride, and I will see you in a few more days for our second video of this week for Law School Gems with Bria. Bye guys.